Hi there, welcome back to my channel. This is me, Nurpakhat, and as always, we're going to break down IELTS reading section, test 2, procrastination, and this is the newest test book, which is Cambridge 20. So let's move on. And this particularly multiple choice question types is so hard to answer. That's true. So we're going to start with the strategy first, and then we're going to practice. Okay. So this is how they look. Let me share the screen. Here we go. This is the test, how it looks like, and our procrastination passage. And the questions look like this: 23, 24, 25, and 26. So here we have the multiple choice question types. And the first thing I would say is try to complete these type of questions at the end of the reading section. Why? Because this might be the hardest one. And the second reason is the answers don't come in order and they might be anywhere in the passage. So that's why you should try to complete them if you finished everything, every single question in the reading section. So let's break it down. Yay! The strategy for it is, of course, you should highlight the keywords, and you are expected that you have read everything in this passage, because before it we had other types of questions. For example, let me show you. Before this multiple choice question types, we had the, as you can see here, yes, matching information. Excuse me. We've already broken down the matching information types of questions here, and completing sentence completion tasks. So that means once you've seen these matching multiple choice question types, you are read already the passage and you know the location of the answers. So that's why you're going to answer it at the end. You really want to answer it at the end of the reading section. Okay, so this is the first 23rd and 24th questions. The keywords, of course, you should highlight them. And before doing these types of the questions, please know that what every single section is about. So you should really read everything, because this one is more about skimming. Of course, you're going to scan. Of course, you're going to find some keywords and match them. But the main point here is you are really expected to know the location of each answer, because you have already read everything. And while you complete these other types of questions like matching information here and sentence completion, you should also try to write down in these spaces, like you have the spare space over here, over there. Try to write down a little summary what each paragraph is about. So that might be the case. Okay, it's a game changer. This one helps me a lot. That's why I have 7.5 in IELTS. So this is a game changer. So please use this tip, and we are ready. We are ready to complete 23rd to 24th. Okay, which two comparisons between employees, okay, who often procrastinate and those who do not are mentioned in the text? So, okay, our job is to find the paragraph which is about employees. And as I already mentioned, we should really know what each paragraph is about. So A, B, C, just go ahead and pause the video, and you know that after reading these paragraphs, you will definitely see that A, B, C, D, they are going to have some information, okay, but they don't have information about employees. Okay, so that might be the case here. So you should really know what each paragraph is about. So we are not going to reread ABC because we already have read them in our previous videos. So yeah, we're not going to read them. But if you haven't watched my other videos, please pause the video and try to read ABCs, and you will know that employees are not mentioned in this ones. And employees, if you remember, if you have watched my previous videos, they are in passage D. This is what we really need because we have 22,000 employees here, and also employees over there. Other research shows that employees on average, here we go. So our job is to find the location. And how to find the location is, of course, you should read the passage and try to take notes about what each section is about. And let's come back to the question number 23 and 24. The comparison between those who often procrastinate and those who do not. So let's read what they say about. Okay, and you should really try to keep in mind options as well. So after highlighting the keywords, please try to read the options. Their salaries are lower, the quality of their work is inferior, they don't keep their jobs for as long, they don't enjoy their working lives as much, they have poorer relationships with colleagues. Okay, so once you've got every single option, let's try to read these sentences in section D. So why is this such a problem? When most people think of the cost of procrastination, they think of the toll on productivity. For example, studies have shown that procrastination negatively impacts on students' performance. Okay, we have nothing about employees, but keep reading. But putting off reading textbooks and writing essays may affect other areas of students' lives. In one study of over 3,000 German students over a 6-month period, those who reported procrastinating over their university work were also more likely to engage in study-related misconduct, such as cheating and plagiarism. But the behavior that procrastination was most closely linked with was using fraudulent excuses to get deadline extensions. So now this one is we're going to be about employees. Other research shows that employees on average spend almost a quarter of their workday procrastinating. And again, this is linked with negative outcomes. In fact, in one US survey of over 22,000 employees, participants who said they regularly procrastinated had less annual income and less employment stability. Okay, so let's come back to the first option. So comparison, we do have it, employees. And as I mentioned, you shouldn't memorize the options, but we have something to do with salaries, which are lower. So here they say a less annual income and less employment stability. And let's read the last one. For every 1 point increase on a measure of chronic procrastination, annual income decreased by US $15,000 US dollars. Okay, so the second sentence is not saying us anything. This one, I mean the last one. So all we have is they had less annual income and less employment stability. So let's try to match them. Their salaries are lower. Of course, it's all about annual income. It's the money that you make, so which is the other way to say salaries. And the next one, less employment stability. The quality of their work is inferior. No, we have nothing about quality. They don't keep their jobs for as long. This might be close to less employment stability. Let's move on. They don't enjoy their working lives as much. No, we don't have such thing. They have poor relationships with colleagues. No, we don't have any relationship. So here, our answers are A and C. This is how you do it. As you can see, this is how you get the answers, correct answers, A and C. So that's all about the 23rd and 24th. And the answers, the answer A and answer C, you can write them in either order. You can write C first and then A first. It doesn't matter. Okay. In the answer sheets of IELTS reading section, you have two choices. You can start writing the answer A first, and then you can write C second. But it's also going to be a great answer if you put C in the 23rd answer and an A in the answer of the question 24. So it doesn't matter. Either order is correct. Okay, next, 25 and 26. Which two recommendations, the keywords for getting out of a cycle of procrastination, does the writer give? Recommendations. Okay, so since we have already read the passage, the recommendations which are mentioned, and logically you can also expect them to be by the end of the passage. So here in the last paragraph, we do have some recommendations because the topic sentence says finding better ways of managing our emotions. So that sounds like a recommendation, huh? So finding better ways of managing our emotions, la la la. So that's a keyword of recommendation, and our job is to read the options, try to keep them in mind. You're not memorizing, but you should keep them in mind because it's going to be easier to follow the content. Next, not judging ourselves harshly, setting ourselves manageable aims, rewarding ourselves for tasks achieved, prioritizing tasks according to their importance, and avoiding things that stop us concentrating on our tasks. Okay, so now we are ready to read the whole thing. Finding better ways of managing our emotions is one road out of the vicious cycle, yes, of procrastination. The cycle of procrastination, vicious cycle of procrastination. Let's keep up. An important first step is to manage our environment and how we view the task. Okay, manage our environment, how we view the task. Next, do we have anything about it? Managing environment. No. Okay, next. The raw number of evidence-based strategies that can help us fend off distractions that can occupy our minds, and when we should be focusing on thing we should be getting on with. Oh, yay. So there are a number of evidence-based strategies, which is the other way of recommendation, that can help us fend off distractions. It means to avoid distractions that can occupy our minds when we should be focusing on things we should be getting on with. So, that one, fending off distractions, looks like the E option, avoiding things that stop us concentrating on our tasks. So this is the first answer. The next one, for example, reminding ourselves about why the task is important and valuable can increase positive feelings towards it. Reminding, do we have anything about reminders? No. Let's move on. Next, forgiving ourselves and feeling compassion when we procrastinate can help break the procrastination cycle. Okay, so forgiving ourselves. Okay, next, we should admit that we feel bad, but not be overly critical ourselves. Okay, these sentences are helpful, very helpful for us because we have the option, which is not judging ourselves harshly, which is also forgiving ourselves and not being overly critical. So we should remind ourselves that we're not the first person to procrastinate, nor the last. So yeah, the option A and E are our answers. So you don't have to read other parts of the passage F, since you have already found the answers A and E. So again, the answer A is going to be the first one in my answer sheet, and you might also put E first and then A first. Either options work. So that's it. This is how you do it. Hope this video has helped you to find out about these in detail, and I really hope that after watching this video, you're going to get a higher grade as much as my students do. Thank you much for watching this video, and I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed helping you out with the strategy. Feel free to follow my channel if you like my videos, and feel free to watch other videos of breaking down the IELTS reading section. Hopefully this video is very fun for you. Thank you very much. And in the description box, I will give you some kind of the link where you can contact me if you want one-to-one lessons. Okay, I'm an IELTS tutor. My band score is 7.5, and my students get 6.5, 7.5 band scores with my strategy and with my tutoring. So yeah, I'm an IELTS tutor. Thank you for watching this video, and give it a thumbs up if you liked. Thank you. Have a good time. Bye. See you on the next one.